World War II ended in 1945, but for millions of children, the nightmare didn't stop. They lost their parents, their homes, and in many cases, their identities. They were called war orphans, abandoned in ashes of the world's most devastating conflict. But what happened to them? Where did they go? And what became of the children of war? By the end of the World War II, more than 30 million children across Europe were orphaned or displaced. Many had seen their parents died in bombing, massacre, or concentration camps. Some were too young to even remember their own names. From Berlin to Warsaw, from Paris to Moscow, children roamed destroyed cities, starving, cold, and afraid. They became a lost generation, with no one to protect them and nowhere to call home. In the shock after the war, some children were taken in by strangers or distant relatives. Others lived in refugee camps, orphanages, or worse, on the street. Some were adopted, but many were exploited, used for labor, or trafficking into black markets. For Jewish children who survived the Holocaust, reintegration was even harder. Some had been hidden by Christian families and had forgotten their heritage. When surviving relatives came to reclaim them, many refused to leave. What didn't just take their families, it took their identity. The world tried to respond. Organizations like UNRRA, United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration, and later UNICEF worked to register, feed, and house children. Efforts were made to reunite families, but thousands had no one left. In Germany, some children of Nazi parents were labeled children of the enemy. In the Soviet Union, war orphans were often sent to state-run orphanages, where conditions were harsh and ideology indiscrimination was common. In Eastern Europe, children born from relationship between local women and German soldiers, often called children of shame, were isolated or rejected by their own communities. Thousands of orphans were adopted abroad, especially in the USA, UK, Canada, and Australia. But these adoptions aren't always properly documented. Some children grew up never knowing where they came from. A few were too traumatized to speak. Years later, many would begin their own journey to trace lost family roots using old Red Cross records, war archives, and even DNA testing. Their search continues to this day. Many of these orphans grew up to learn normal life, but they carried the scar of war in silence. Some shared their stories, becoming advocates for peace. Others kept the memories locked away. The trauma of war doesn't end on the battlefield. It passes on through generations. Today, the children of World War II are in their 80s and 90s, but their stories still speak. War creates heroes and villains, but it also leaves behind the innocent. The children of World War II remind us that the greatest cause of war is often borne by those who don't start it. Subscribe for more human stories, untold war history, and the truth they never taught in school.